Yo, yo, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Coming to you live. I think this is Veterans Day. It's Tuesday. Um, what are we in, November 11th or something like that? Tuesday, November 11th. I am coming to you live from actually my house this time. So you are coming from the Welton residence. When you're just logging on, let me know who you are, where you're from. This morning I was running around like crazy because you know those annoying smoke detectors that go off in your house and it starts beeping, but you can, it's like that chirp, right? I used to have a dog that used to go crazy over it. My dog now doesn't go crazy over it. But anyways, it started happening at 6 a.m. and I was trying to make sure I didn't wake up everybody. But we don't have any of those 9-volt batteries to be able to switch it out. So there's nothing I could have done. Tried to be the hero, you know? Anyways, if you're just logging on, let me know who you are, where you're from. I am, my name is your friendly neighborhood physical therapist, Dr. Ryan Welton, coming to you from just outside the cold Tampa Bay area. It's actually like 34 degrees right now. It's like some kind of record. Everybody's freaking out. I should have covered up my avocado plants, but we'll see if they make it. Um, my mango tree got killed last year. Wasn't happy about that. Anyways, I am a physical therapist. I have a chronic pain clinic. I call it the I've failed everything clinic. And because patients come in all the time and say, I've failed everything type thing. So, anyways, I figured out how to get exceptional results in that patient population. I created courses. I published uh, historically, statistically, in readership papers on multiple, um, 4, 5, 6 papers now I've published, but I pinned 4 of them. I asked the Journal for Analytics 3 to 5 years post publication, and I pinned it to my social media. You can see it, the amount of reads, getting multiple times, not orthopedic, some of the most read orthopedic, orthopedic papers, but actually some of the most read most read journals in orthopedics, but the biggest journals in all the world in medicine. It's getting multiple times that, 3 to 5 years post publication, every 12 months type thing. So it's actually off the charts, and I am extraordinarily grateful. I remember I emailed the journal like a year and a half after I published my what's called root cause of SI joint dysfunction paper. And I emailed the journal and I asked them how it was doing. And I believe they told me a year and a half later, you had 176,000 reads. So I asked AI that. And AI said that, like, phenomenal paper gets like 50,000. So, like, that's off the charts. But currently it's still off the charts. And the reason why is because I created protocols for conditions. So if you go to my website, weltonmethods.com, um, you can grab my papers on there. Okay. Go to publications. Anyways, um, all right. So today I am talking about how to stop guessing. So I don't think that physical therapy school, if people feel like they have imposter syndrome, then I don't think that physical therapy school is doing the job it's supposed to do. So, like you hear about this word imposter syndrome. It's like a word in our profession, in the rehab professions, right? And people are like, I don't know, I don't know if I know what I'm doing, if my patients only knew that I didn't know what I'm doing, like there'd, there'd be problem type thing, but people keep it to themselves. And, they feel like they're guessing in evaluations. And for that to be a thing in the rehab professions where people feel like they have this imposter syndrome, like they don't know what they're doing. Like if it's a systemic problem, then people need to like remedy this. You know what I'm saying? But schools are schools. They don't really teach you what to do. Kind of like law school. Talk to lawyers. They're like, they don't teach us. They don't teach us like how to like the law. They teach us more how to analyze the law. And I feel like it's the same in physical therapy school. In fact, I had a student one time who said, "Yeah, physical therapy school just teaches you how not to like take somebody out." And I'm like, I sat there and I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, no, they told that if you do this, you'll hurt the person. If you do this, you may really hurt the person. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do that. And I'm like, oh, interesting. I'm like, I think this person's actually right. But this whole thing about like guessing and imposter syndrome and all that, like this is a real problem. Okay. Now, we're supposed to rely on our clinicals, which are very short, to teach us how to treat people. Okay. Now, maybe you get some great clinical instructor, but that's not usually, you know, I mean, they got like unless you got somebody with like 30 years experience or something like that, like that's been in the trenches. But if you got somebody that's like 5 years experience, then they're kind of new at it too, but maybe they're good. Who knows, right? So, so anyway, so what I recommend for this whole imposter slash guessing thing is, so I published these papers, these statistically historic papers, and they are protocols that I use. Okay, in those papers, I show exceptional results, like I get in my chronic pain clinic, and I publish those papers on purpose. Okay, to help my colleagues. Okay, because I kept seeing the same thing over and over again. I've tried this, I've tried that. Physical therapy is one of them, two of them, three of them. I've tried 5, 7 physical therapists. Nobody knows what's wrong with me. They laughed at me. They told me that's not possible when it was actually SI joint referring into another part of the body, which is documented before. Like people are laughing at patients, and you know the thing about it is, hold on, I guess these. Bless me. The thing about it is if you just have a blueprint. I publish those papers for a blueprint, okay, so people can follow a blueprint. Now, having said that, um, what I have done, if you've joined my school group, my free school group, okay, my goal is to get us diagnostically up here, okay, and to stop guessing and help people feel confident. Now, there's a testimonial going around that I boosted, and it's of this physical therapist in Alaska called Shauna Cooper. So she was one of my OG students, and I taught her all of my methods. And she told me, like she's not really worried about treating. That's not a problem for her. And I taught her the cash-based clinic model. So if you join the school group, I'm talking about that. And I'm teaching a clinical mentorship and a cash-based business mentorship. So it's a free group. Just join it. Click the link below. Um, but Shauna she said in that testimonial that's going around is that he taught me how to be confident in the clinic. He instills confidence. Well, like everybody, like to me, it's so easy to get confidence in the clinic. And you want to know how I say that? It's because I'm a very practical person. The reason why you don't have confidence is because your patients aren't getting better. But what if you can replicate what I published in my papers, those exceptional results? What if you could replicate them, right? All of a sudden you have confidence. You feel like you know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Or some of my other course, like I published the myofascial referral technique course years ago, like 10 something years ago. And people are getting, or people like, I repost things where people are getting exceptional results within, stimulating different points that I describe in those cases as reflex pain points. So they're shutting their patient's pain off immediately. They're not lacking confidence. like this isn't like a problem for them, you know? So, so anyways, like I just have a very different take on this whole imposter syndrome and guessing and people feeling lost in the clinic. Like there are people like me that like get exceptional results, and I'm literally lighting the path and showing you the way. Okay. Showing you the way of like, here's how I do it, and I don't worry about the whole physical therapy thing. Now, maybe a handful of people a year, usually what I call long haul SI rehab, will give me a run for my money. In the clinic, they just have this inherent groin weakness. I got a couple of them now, and it's like, you know, it's the hardest thing I've ever tried to rehab because they like literally can't strengthen their groins enough to pull in the L flares for SI joint. But other than that, like I generally don't worry about it, and I don't really worry about diagnostics. Like if someone, for let's say low back pain, right? If someone has, let's say they have bowel and bladder issues, okay, or no, you ask them, no bowel and bladder issues, and they have intact myotomes, no saddle anesthesia, then now they belong in your clinic, right? Or no recent trauma, right? Fall off a ladder, motor vehicle accident, you should get an x-ray, you should go get screened by an MD for that. But other than that, especially when you can reproduce their pain, they belong in the clinic, right? And after that, then it's a game of diagnostics. But I came up with diagnostic procedures that I teach in my Click Below school group. I teach that, and I help people, and that has helped tons of people get exceptional results. Okay, like I published in my case studies in these paper, my root cause papers that I called root cause papers. So, anyways, when it comes to this whole I'm guessing. I feel like the patient never knew what's wrong, that I don't know what I'm doing or whatever. Like, there's people that have figured a lot of stuff out, and in my case, I published a lot of it. Now I go much more in depth in my courses, and you get 59% off to join my clinical mentorship, where I will mentor you live weekly, and with Q&A, and you can ask questions. I'll do videos on your questions, stuff like that. And my goal is to relieve as much suffering as I can in this world, because if I can help the healers, then we can reach way more people if I can just help one person, one patient type of thing. So, I highly, 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 highly recommend you, number one, read my papers. They're actually in the group. I just posted it. Here's my papers. Join that group, the school group below. And then also, I actually am teaching people how to open and run a cash-based clinic, a very successful cash-based clinic, where it's not communism. It's not everybody gets paid the same copayment, no matter if you're phenomenal at your job or not good at your job. Like I think that's insane. It is, if you invest time and money into your education and you become an excellent, phenomenal clinician, you should get paid accordingly, like every other profession in the world. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. This isn't Cuba. Like the whole thing is crazy. And I couldn't deal with it anymore. And I was getting my patients better, usually in about five. When I get into the deep chronic pain world, the I've failed everything world, most people have 2 to 3 issues. 5 to 8 weeks on average, I treat somebody. And then I never need to see you again. And but yet when a lot of people are seeing someone 12 weeks, like in the co-payment system, they make more money than I do. Like it's just like, so if I have a clinic, how do I compete with these people, right? It was unsustainable. It was unsustainable. So at that point, I dropped it and I said, no mas, I'm done. I am done with this craziness, and I will not be participating in insurance anymore. So, anyways, I created this highly successful one therapist or more, 7-figure cash-based model. You heard that correctly. One therapist, 7 figures, and it's based off of results. So I teach, like this Shauna Cooper says in her testimony, he teaches you how to get your patients out of pain immediately, she said, and therefore there's buy-in, right? So everybody's got these sales tactics, right? Everybody's trying to sell, like sales. It's basically manipulation if you think about it, right? You're trying to manipulate someone's brain into buying your product, right? I don't have sales tactics. I'm not a natural salesperson. I don't actually I don't sell anything. I relieve your pain. I demonstrate to you that I actually know what I'm doing, and then I show you how much it costs, you know? And that's that. X amount of people say yes, X amount of people say no. And at the end of the month, it's usually about the same. So that is my cash-based business model. And I've had that for basically, I've been hybrid for like 3 years when I first started in 2009. And then after that, I was like done. I was like, I can't deal with this stupidity insurance company. Plus, I'm an inventor, so they don't cover what I'm doing type thing. Like, I am not interested in that. So anyways, that's that. But it's really early in the morning. It's 6:40 in the morning on this Tuesday. I believe it's the 11th, November 11th. And other than that, click below, join my school group. Okay, no more imposter syndrome. Read my papers, join my school group. I am teaching, I am mentoring, free, and then also a paid version of it where I will literally get in there with you in terms of exactly what you want to learn. I want to get better at shoulders. Okay, great. Let's do a whole thing on shoulders. I want to get better at impingements. I want to get better at SI joint. I want to get better at plantar fasciitis. Okay, this is how I do it. So anyways, that is the remedy for imposter syndrome, is to actually get results and follow the people that came before you, like me. If you're a new grad and you feel like you don't know what you're doing, then follow the stuff that I'm doing. All right. All right. Peace. Love you all.